You have your headphones on? Headphones on, please. Okay. Do you hear me, everybody? You have your headphones on? That's great. So let's start our youth dynamic coalition meeting and welcome all those that are here and by remote. It's a pleasure to see this room getting crowded, and I hope we get even more people coming during the meeting. So my name is Raquel Gato. I'm from Brazil, and we have Jonas here also. And we are from founding members of the Youth Dynamic Coalition. I'm just going to give, since I see so many new faces, and by new I mean newbies faces, new time, first time faces that I see around. We thought about making a short introduction about the creation and the Youth Dynamic Coalition. So it was formally created in 2009. We do have a charter that it stands for our global objectives and how we envisage the dynamic coalitions to be structured and membership being based. Sorry, it's not membership, but anyway, I'm using the wrong English terms. But anyway, the website is ICIG. .org. So if anyone wants to follow up with what I'm talking about, and one of the main reasons why this dynamic coalition was created is exactly to provide a space, a forum, a place where all the youth activities could merge, projects, and youth could be empowered. So the main idea was that youth took a leadership role to be in IGF and in the internet governance mechanism, because it can be broadened up to all the other fora we are talking about. And by youth, we had a long debate on what we were going to consider, and it's not only the really young, the child, the young adults, but anyone under 30 should be consider this broader aspect of youth and should be empowered in the IGF debate. One of our first goals was to have youth in each main session, a youth representative in each main session, in each workshop that would allow to use our voice in the structure that IGF takes place. And it has been accomplished, not in 100% of the cases, but the majority of the sessions already have this representation. We did have Jonas talking, right, in many cases. But one of the points for this meeting specifically is not only to bring up the young people that are attending the IGF together, but also to make a call for new leadership and for more young people involvement. The truth is that we are getting old. As I said, I've just hit 30, so I'm not young anymore. So I'm young based on the majority, but anyway. I'm not exactly a youth anymore, and it would be nice to have new leaders, to have your voice being spread and your challenges and your objectives, and we're of course here to help you through the process. But anyway, keep in mind while we're talking that how can you be involved, how can you take a leading position in this coalition. Okay, so back to Jonas.
Thank you very much, and everyone, welcome. If I may first point to the screen there is a URL for a pad that we're going to use, like last time, for all our notes. So the meeting notes will be there, and everyone can write down ideas, and we can see them how they go. So everyone who has a computer, you might want to open that website at the moment. So piratebat.net/YCIG12. There are also relevant links to other places. So I'm trying to contain everything there. Yes, so hello. This is one of the rare workshops that are not about youth specifically, because we just want to get more involved. And YCIG would like to consist of and help everyone who is even interested in youth participation, not just young people. I'm 24 years old, and I feel I'm too old for this shit. So we need we need young blood here, and also nice older people, like I'm going to be in a moment, and you too. So first of all, in order to map somehow what kind of people we have here who could possibly help getting younger people involved in IG, it would be a nice thing to have a brief introductory round if you don't have anything against it. That would be very beneficial. And after that, we could take a look how has youth been involved in this IGF, and then I think others would very much want to hear about local activities as well. What sort of events, forums you've had in other countries or even more locally, because those are always interesting. We want to hear how young people are involved. And of course, if you have, and then in the end, if of course, if you have some kind of ideas where to go, any upcoming events where you would like to invite more people from abroad, please promote them, inform us. So if the microphone, where is it? We could start a round. If you could go that way. If you go that way, everyone please just tell who you are and what do you do with youth, and how could you possibly help young people being more involved in this.
Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm with the Web of Tomorrow. I'm with the European Youth Forum, and I'm from the UK, and I was involved in a lot of youth media projects, but officially in my country I'm too old to be youth, so I'm not sure how I contribute or not, yeah.
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm also here with the Web of Tomorrow is yours, like the upcoming, 6, 7 people. I'm actually one of the people are helping to organize our kind of events for the last 2 years. And we are also already in the planning process and application process for the European Dialogue on Internet Governance, which is the European IGF structure. And I'm personally trying to work out that we are getting a plenary for young people there on the topic of disadvantaged use and young people that are on the internet and how to fix that issue.
Hello. Hello? Okay, sorry. My name is Alejandro, and I'm not that young anymore, but I think I can participate. It's my first IGF, and I haven't done till now a lot in this issue, but I think I have some ideas now from the IGF, and well, I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Kostas. I am from Greece and I'm here as a representative of the European Youth Forum, and I'm also a member of the New Media Database of the European Youth Forum, which has the European Youth Forum has done a lot, and you can check more on our website and our policy paper, which we will be very much like to distribute to all of you, and you can read it on engaging more young people on issues of internet governments, freedom of expression, and we definitely see new media policy and intergovernance as a user-centered process, as you will read on our policy paper. I don't want to bother you anymore of that, and I'll pass the floor to the next one.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I represent the Swedish Media Council and the Safe Internet Center in Sweden. We arranged the Nordic Youth Internet Governance Forum in June, and unfortunately our youngsters, they had to go to the airport now. So I just want to say that we have just started in the Nordic countries to really engage with youth in the internet governance issues, and that we will continue to do so, and I hope there will be more of my colleagues in this forum in the future. So thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Marco, coming from Serbia, also representing European Youth Forum here in the capacity. It's important that we stress this representation because I am not here an individual person, but 18 of us are representing the biggest European platform that is advocating for the youth rights and rights of youth organizations. Why we are here is to build our capacity on internet things, because we are very good in non-formal education, but we would like to connect non-formal education methodology together with the expertise in internet and build interesting activities for young people to motivate them to work on their skills, competencies, and especially attitudes to become more active in the internet issues.
Hello, my name is Pavel. I'm here as others from Web of Tomorrow is Yours. I'm here on behalf of IGF Europe, European Students Forum, when I'm board member and I'm responsible for this issue of internet governance, and I'm trying to disseminate this information about what I am doing here and what I was also doing on Eurodig in Stockholm to among all our members, which is more than 13,000 European students, and also like pushing youth participation about this topic to make people more aware what the internet is about and what is behind.
Hi, my name is Taranam. I am from Azerbaijan, and I am representative of the National Assembly of Youth Organization of Azerbaijan Republic. And why I am here? I am here to get more information about the internet governance, and also I am the one of, and also my organization is one of the organizers of the Web of Tomorrow is Yours.
Hi, my name is Erik, and I'm also here with the Web of Tomorrow and with the Middle East and North Africa Committee, who are trying to work to create networks between journalists, young media makers from Europe and from the Middle East.
Hi, my name is Anya. I'm here with the European Youth Forum and also representing Diplo Foundation and Humboldt University of Berlin, providing a little bit of an academic perspective and reflecting on issues that youth is actively involved on in terms of internet governance. Thank you.
Sorry about this interruption. I had previously today circled around a mailing list paper where you can put your email, but before going for a lunch, I put it on the door and now it's gone. So I need to put a new paper forward because so far mostly we've been in contact through a mailing list. So please put your email address and name if you want to have some kind of communication.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm from Ukraine, and I'm here also with the Web of Tomorrow. And my interest is, first of all, academic. I'm researching in the Lund University, but I'm also a member of a Ukrainian NGO, Institute for Ukrainian Studies, and a worldwide NGO, World Organization of Young Esperantists, Esperanto speakers. And internet governance issues, internet-related policies are obviously important in the work of my organizations as well.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Uzi, an Iranian journalist living in Germany, working for Deutsche Welle, and also I'm working as a consultant for Internews Europe. So my area of focus is internet censorship and internet freedom, and so we're here to bring new ideas.
Hi, my name is Desiree Ho from the Net Mission Ambassador Program in Hong Kong, and our program mainly addresses issues on digital divide and also internet governance. And we're always looking for opportunities to work with young people, to engage people from different parts of the world, because that's the only way we think that the internet can be properly represented. And we also organized the first YIGF in Hong Kong, so the first youth IGF in Hong Kong after the IGF in Egypt, right? Yeah, and I'll pass on to my colleagues and they can tell you more about what we've done.
Yeah, and I'm Yanis Lee, also from the Net Mission Ambassadors Program. I'm the coordinator of it. And so actually to add on what Desiree said about the Youth IGF Act, we're organizing this every year and is parallelly with the Asia Pacific regional one. And last year it was in Tokyo, and the first one is in Hong Kong and the second one is Singapore, and last year is in Tokyo, and next year is going to be in South Korea. So basically that's how we engage the youth in different countries around the region.
Hello, I'm Kiko and I'm from Hong Kong. I'm the Hong Kong secondary school student and I'm the network ambassador from Hong Kong. Yeah.
Hi, this is Bianca, Net Mission Ambassador from Hong Kong. So echoing on Jana's point, I think it's important to, there are like Dutch IGF where I've seen that they have a youth IGF in conjunction with the actual IGF. So I think it's important maybe to discuss the possibility to have a youth IGF at this formal IGF as well in conjunction. So we were in Lithuania and we hosted a workshop yesterday, number 119, on youth engagement on the internet governance. And we think it's important to kind of like gather these efforts. So it's great to see people all around here from different parts of the world, and maybe we can talk about that.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Jen from Hong Kong. I'm 17 years old and I am the NetWire ambassador. We have submitted an essay paper about internet governance in Hong Kong, so that this is my first time to be here and express my opinions on internet governance. Yes.
Hi everyone. I'm Pat from Hong Kong, a student, and I'm representing the NetWire Ambassador competition, which is an essay writing competition that lets the youth participants participate in the internet governance, and I hope I can see some inspiring idea to urge the youth participate in internet governance. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joshua Wong, come from Hong Kong, and I'm a 16 years old secondary school student. Also, I'm a social activist in Hong Kong, which consider an interest in how to use internet, social network, and different social media to engage people and youth to participate in different government policy.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Wayne Choi, and I'm also the NetWire ambassador from all of us. Them, and actually NetWire is mainly from a competition which is about an essay competition, and we mainly focus on internet governance, internet issues. And right now it's good to see all of you are focused on youth participation, and just try to make it these opinions and take them back to your country, and just like us, the models to motivate the youth participation in internet governance. Thank you.
My name is Norbert Bollo, Swiss Open Systems User Group, and my reason for being here is that I'm planning to organize a workshop next year on a topic that absolutely needs a youth representative, so I need to learn something.
Hello everyone, my name is Peter Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Weird stuff this. Peter Matiasius, the president of the Youth Forum. You heard we brought a lot of people this time. Last year in Nairobi there were a couple of us sitting in a table, so I'm very happy that this time a lot of new faces are here. It's important for us what we represent to bring in the youth organizations, but I'm happy that in this dynamic coalition we have different types of youth representation, and it brings the diversity to it. So I'm looking forward to cooperate on these things together.
Hello, Elvin Majidov from Azerbaijan. Well, I'm teaching European foreign policy at Kafkas University here in Baku, and one of our personal research interests is actually the internetization, computerization as a tool for democracy in civil society development in some certain countries. So in this regard, the role of youth is of paramount importance. I'm looking forward to contributing to your discussions from some scholarly perspectives here. I was a participant of the panel called Is Access to Internet a Human Right? So far it's been very interesting, and I'm looking forward to to making it more interesting.
Hello, my name is Victor. I'm from Hungary. Do you know what is the difference between the remote participants and those sitting here at the IGF? That they have internet. At least. Okay, so I'm from Hungary. I have had the honor to participate through Web of Tomorrow is Yours at the Eurodig. now I'm here. It's very nice. I'm really thanks for all the support of this framework. I've been involved since like 6-7 months in this issue. I'm working on the internet governance topics. We have proposals of the government to block internet. We don't have IG in Hungary. Now I start to use my connections, use the knowledge I gained, and start an IGF in Hungary.
Yes, hello, I'm Eric Krier from the National Youth Service in Luxembourg. Means I'm a bit too old, indeed, for this round. And I have been actually, during this IGF, at a lot of events where we had then elder people talking about, yes, youth should be at our panel and youth should be in our workshop. So finally, that's the table where you're all sitting around. I'm looking forward to your outcomes. And I'm looking forward to see then, of course, in the next, at the next IGF or similar events, the mixture, where then finally we really have then all the different, as they call it, multi-stakeholder approach really done on the ground level. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Anjan Bose, and I'm from ECPAT International, based in Bangkok. Our organization deals with protecting children from sexual exploitation. But the reason why I'm here is to learn from all of you young people. I'm probably one of the youngest amongst you. You know, the value that I can bring, or our organization can bring to this work, is because we work directly with young people in various countries. And we really need to know what young people believe, some of the drivers, and that can effectively influence us in our decision making and program implementing process. So I look forward to hearing your voice here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Larry Magid. I was a youth leader in the 1960s, but I made the mistake of growing up, so I apologize for that. But to rectify that, my colleague Ann Collier and I started an NGO called Connect Safely, which is part of the internet safety field, but really we are mostly part of the youth empowerment and youth advocacy field, and have been working very hard trying to make sure that internet safety doesn't stomp on young people and deny young people their rights to free expression. And we're anxious to learn from you.
Hi, I'm Ann Collier, Larry's co-director, and I'd like to see us move from all youth panels to having youth in every panel, every workshop. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I hope we'll discuss that today. And the other thing I'd like to see is, I don't think there are any American youth here, so it would be wonderful to get some here. We don't have the resources, but maybe Google and Facebook, who are here, could help a little bit. And so maybe you could help us agitate for American youth participation at the IGF.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Thiago Tavares. I'm from SafeNet Brazil, which is the civil society organization responsible for the Brazilian National Cybercrime Reporting Center, and also for the Brazilian Awareness Node and the Brazilian National Helpline. And we, on beginning this year, we established 3 state level youth panels at the states in São Paulo, Rio Grande do Sul is in the south of Brazil, and also in the state of Bahia. And we are planning to organize a national youth panel conference on the next year, and we'll be glad if many of yours could be participate and join us in this meeting that probably will take place in Salvador, Bahia, on the second semester of the next year. I will provide more information on the beginning of the next year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sabina. I'm from Azerbaijan. I want to say just shortly, I'm representing a local organization which is called Bridge to the Future Youth Public Union. We are mostly working with young people through internet. That's why I involved it for this forum. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Izumi Aizu. I'm the member of the MAG or MAG of this IGF, and also the member of the MSG, which is the steering group for the Asia Pacific Regional IGF, together with Edmund and other my colleagues. I'm also the member of the Civil Society Internet Governance Caucus, one of the noisy vocal groups of this IGF for many years. Why I'm here, I just came to challenge you guys. Does age really count on the internet? If internet does no border, transcending time and space, why does age count? That's my question that to be shared with you guys. If there's a youth forum or youth something, why not senior thing, middle age thing? What's exactly you want to achieve is my question. Thank you.
Edmund Chung here from Dot Asia. Interesting challenge. I think we were working very hard to try to do an elderly IGF as well. So, no, but Dot Asia supports a number of youth programs that is related to IG. I think was talked about earlier. Net Mission, NetY with YMCA, and also the Youth IGF camp that is held every year at the regional IGF in Asia. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Domingo. I university from Hong Kong. The aim for me is to, in IGF is to represent youngsters to voice their opinions. I also am member of NetY. This is my first time to take part in IGF. Okay.
My name is Toshita Tesh from Japan Space Association. So I'm deeply involved in the national and domestic measure for the illegal and harmful information, except for mainly for the young people. So I'm watching and interested in your opinions. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Yoshi Obata from Mobile Operating Japan. I'm maybe one of the youngest in this room because I'm only 18 years in this industry and 26 years in the telecom industry. So I was one of the organizers for a local organizer for the Asia Pacific Regional IGF this year, and very impressed by the .Asia supporting YIGF, and we hope we can do or facilitate similar activities in Japan for the Japan IGF, and that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
And then the microphone here, there are still two people. Oh yeah, you can use this.
Yep. Hello. Oh yeah, of course. Works? Okay. Yes, hi, I'm Olivier Crépin-Leblanc. I'm an internet user since 1988, which I guess makes me a dinosaur. I'm the chair of the English chapter of the Internet Society, but also the chair of the at-large advisory committee in ICANN, which is the part of ICANN that brings in the input of internet users in the ICANN processes. I'm here because I am surrounded by dinosaurs at ICANN, and I'm really looking for new species that are not going to be extinct in a few years, and I think that this is the best location to find new members, so thank you.
Hello, my name is Ludo Keizer, moderator of the Dutch youth event, which was mentioned earlier, involved with the European Youth Forum. And what I do is that I trigger organizations. They used to call me Trigger Boy. I'm almost 30 now, so I guess it's going to be Trigger Man in about 2 weeks. And yeah, that's about it for now, I guess, as an introduction. Thank you.
Internet is back.
Oh, great. So I know I've already introduced myself as also a dinosaur, as a founder of the Youth Coalition, but anyway, We do have another dinosaur over here, which is Rafik Damak, our actual coordinator who could not be in Baku this time, and he would like to say a few words through remote. But before that, I would like also to make my introduction. What do I envisage by being in this meeting, and not only for the coalition, but for the interface with you? As you said, we don't have either, if I don't make a mistake, from Latin America, beside myself. So I'm from Brazil. And other Brazilian, but I mean, we don't have youth from Latin America. And by seeing the Net Mission and .NL and other programs, we've been talking about with other Latin American people to start a program. So if you have ideas, if you can share with them and use the coalition as also these databases for how we've been working, how we've been raising awareness, outreach, engagement, and participation. This is really important, so you can help others bring our regional representatives. Anyway, let me try Rafik. Just a second. I'm working with a lot of windows here.
While you're saying that, I might.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's done.
Rafik, can you? Rafik. Okay, we can hear you. Rafik, just a second. Your sound is really, really low. Let me try to raise here. Now, go ahead, Rafik. Thank you, Rafik. And now back to Jonas. Oh.
I might shortly first reply to Izumi-san. The point of YCIG, like any organization that is pro something, is to make itself useless. We're here because we have noticed that young people aren't really perhaps in as many places as we think they should be, or could be, or would be beneficial. So we don't need this anymore when young people are on the panels and they can come here and take part in all the discussions. But sure, I don't mind if we have senior IGF group here. I mean, sure, there could be older people here as well, who might have something very important to say. For example, access. It's true. So internet is back on again, and there's an echo. So is some other microphone open? Yeah, internet is back on again, and now that the internet is on again, there's again the URL big there. So if we, during the short blackout, missed your organization name or something, please do write it down. Okay, now that we briefly know what kind of people there are, and I'm very glad that there are people from many different backgrounds, and not just young people or just, well, it was actually very, very a good thing to hear that at least one person asked here for youth participation. And indeed, if you have some workshops that you're planning to do somewhere, I'm sure you can find interested people here who will help you. But now about the next topic that we need sort of to clear out is the review of how youth participation has been here this week in IGF 12. And you can also check my responsibility, because I have been already speaking in the Taking Stock session a few hours ago and saying a few words about youth participation there. And some of the bullet points that I gave were about, okay, things have been much better now. And in fact, my first IGF was in Vilnius, and we had a sort of big YCIG meeting then, and they were making it in Nairobi. And all those years, I started seeing more young people in IGF. I started to see them more in panels. It's still a little bit of a problem that there seem to be a few panels that are completely about youth. They are completely populated by young people, and they're about young people. It's not yet that people would seek opinions, advice, point of view from young people on other things than what is something youth something. And it's gone better now. I've been hearing today and yesterday and pretty much all week that, hey, young people are participating here and here, and hearing about new panels I didn't know about that young people were there. So it's been great, but there's still a lot to do. There are many barriers for young people to actually participate here locally. There are language barriers. IGF is not locally very promoted, so I would love to see young people who are from around come see how people decide about or think of form opinions on very important topics that really are about them, their lives. Of course, it's very costly to travel, so they almost always need some kind of a funded project like the Youth IGF project and the Nordic Youth that sadly had to go already. So it's great to see those, but I would love to see some progress in generally making it easier and more accessible for young people. There might be many ways to do it, and remote participation is also one, but it doesn't seem to work that well at the moment. Any other ideas? Of course, okay. But this is the sort of picture I have got now, and what I have told some people. If you disagree, do point it out. Otherwise, I'd like to write down all of the things all the panels and everything where young people were in, or somehow importantly mentioned. So if you have something, please tell us about it, and then we can write it down as well.
Thanks, Jonas. First, I wanted to react and answer the question that was posed by our MAG member about why youth matters as a specific age group, because this is a topic that we as a platform representing youth in Europe has constantly facing, so I have some answers ready. But it's true that in the case of internet governance, it's a very specific area where it's most obvious that this question is going to be posed, and where it's most contested, both what you say in terms of specific age group, but also of what we represent as youth organizations, that there's representativity, because internet enables everyone to directly participate, and they should remotely participate and physically be present in these processes as individuals. What is important for us, from where we are coming from, is first the lesson that we have learned is that internet issues should not be treated as youth issues, but as issues on which young people and youth representatives can and should have a say and bring in a specific youth perspective that is specific to them as users. And why we claim that it's relevant as a specific age group, because on one hand, children and young people are a specific age group in society that need to be empowered and supported, and that is applicable also to the internet issues and internet governance issues. And specifically, there are challenges that are pertaining more to them than to others, and we want to ensure that that voice is heard. That's just to clarify why, from our perspective, that is really important. Then I want to say how relevant it is for us as Youth Forum, who kind of got into this process a bit later on, policy-wise. We were present from the beginning and since Vilnius, but not really that active, is especially the statutes or the, how would I call it, the principle that the Dynamic Coalition on Youth has developed. Because what you say there, and I encourage everyone who is here who hasn't read it to read about that in terms of content, because it really outlines some important issues that are relevant for us in terms of getting involved. Now, what I did last year, I was there with 2 other people, and we felt that IGF is great, but we felt completely lost, and we felt that there was no way to get finances, there was no way to get us there. Also because we are youth organizations, we are not focusing on our level of participation is different than, for example, what ChildNet does. That doesn't mean that what they do we think is wrong, we think it's great. However, they have a project that is sponsoring young people, empowering a certain group of individuals to bring them here and have their voice, their individual voice. What we are trying to do is to reach out to society to see what young people are thinking about these issues and get some representatives who can represent those views and opinions into this. So it's more difficult for us on a longer term basis. But when we knew that it's going to be in Azerbaijan, we made the efforts ourselves from last year till now. We talked to our member organizations in Azerbaijan and the one that has members here from an international perspective. And we got in touch with different funding opportunities, the Azure Youth Foundation and Google, who are this time sponsoring us. So there are companies who take that on board, and we hope that we can replicate that for the future and show it as a good practice example. But of course, at the end, we were here just more or less physically present. We were not able or capacitated to prepare a session in advance, to be aware of every steps that you need to do, to be aware of all the bureaucratic hurdles that you need to overcome to be part of this process, because it's a very open process, but only if you're knowledgeable about the different steps. So I think it's very important that Dynamic Youth Coalition is not something that just meets every IGF, which is currently the case, but we really commit, some of us, that we will push this forward. We said it last year, but nobody did anything, us included. So, you know, so it's something that I really want us to think about how we can do it. But I'm happy that we saw much more participation, much more panelists being there as young people. But I think the next step is that we are there, as I said, bringing youth-specific perspectives, and not because it's a topic about youth, and not because we are youth per se. So I don't want to be just in the youth-led topics. I want young people to talk about copyright. I want us to talk about cyber security. I don't want us to talk only about youth participation. And I was personally today in an industry-led approach to protecting children online, which is not something that we are automatically dealing with, but there was a specific youth perspective that we could bring into that. So I think that's the kind of way that I would like to see things move forward, and we will provide info on the Pirate Pad on where we did. Thanks.
Can I just jump in to say that's really interesting? Okay, the mic is going to, I don't see who is going to ask for the mic over there. But before, just let me make a comment, because you raised some very interesting points. One of them is there are a lot of ways to and perspectives to raise a project and to start a project. So I think that mission is not the same as TrialNet, it's not the same as yours, and it's not the same as others. So having this focus is really important to start with. But the main point is, okay, we do need to remember that IGF is a process itself. So it's not only also meeting here each year. You do have a process of construction, consultations, and even in Geneva, you do have remote participation, you do have how to submit, and etc. So what is not clear to move forward is, would we tackle on the issue that the structure needs to somehow provide this environment, or ourselves could put efforts in building this environment? That's one of the questions I would like to hear, perhaps from you or others, if they have ideas, if the dynamic coalitions can put itself, whether in a pirate pad or someplace, not only to make consultations, to participate in this process of the IGF and come here more prepared. That's one of the points. So let me, I think I will take the mic there.
So yeah, don't be afraid to comment on something. We want to keep this very, very dynamic and open. So if you have an opinion on something, go for it.
Okay, hi. I've got some concrete ideas. For example, I got so looking at the schedule of IGF, there are also always different colors for different streams, and I think there should be like a color to be put forward by the IGF Secretariat. For example, design for youth or youth-friendly workshops, or maybe when people apply for workshops, they have a button to say, oh, I'll make this youth-friendly, and they have that commitment too. So I think the moderators or people. I think Anne did a great job on her workshop the other day because she engaged a lot of youth, and she also gave a lot of chances to youth to speak. And I think youth are different in IGF because they do have the hesitation to say something that has been spoken before and they're not too knowledgeable about, and they need a lot more guidance. And I think having that guidance is important, especially to move towards policy making or in the future on internet governance for youth, just as a growing ground. So I think the color code is one of the easy ones that we can go forward for the IGF. And also I realized there are a lot of ambassadorship with other internet conferences. So for example, I know ICANN and ISOL have them. So I do acknowledge that they have the money to bring people who are selected to be joining them in the international conferences. But I think if we had a session, maybe any earlier than today, being the last day, even the last session, a lot of people have gone, maybe put us earlier so that we could have met other young people earlier in the IGF, so that we can bound it and can talk about ideas rather than being the last day and everyone's rushing to leave. I think that can be considered by the IGF Secretariat as well. So yeah, and also like maybe a pre-IGF one-day preparation for younger people who are not so familiar. And I know there was a section, but probably not to focus on young people's participation. So maybe that can be an idea as well. So just a few suggestions.
Great suggestion, thank you. Who asked the mic here? Oh, sorry.
Hello? Yeah. I mean, in Europe, we are not there yet that we could have a structure like the Youth IGF, and I think it's a very cool event to have right in front as one of the side events to bring young people really to IGF. I would not be in favor to make a color code for youth-friendly events, because that kind of would exclude young people from the other part, of course. Not necessarily, but to me, I mean, whenever a young person thinks he has an opinion towards a topic, they should be able to voice it. And I personally had some problem in the preparation of this meeting. I was trying to reach out for once to ChildNet, who did not respond. I also tried to reach the Dynamic Youth Coalition beforehand via David Mitchell, I think was the name.
Do you mean Tim Davies?
What?
Do you mean Tim Davies?
Tim Davies, sorry, yes. Tim Davies, who was referring me to Rafiq, and then Rafiq, I only had the Twitter handle, and somehow it didn't work out. It would be really good and if in the previous communication for IGF, there would be a clear contact address, especially for the new young people that want to be involved, to have really a contact point. Yeah, that would be my main suggestion, just from the experience we just had.
Yeah, right
it's
now.
a great one. Can I take one of the remote? We do have the ISOC Cameroon hub connected, and they want to make, they asked for the mic. Just a second. Okay, now it is. Hello, ISOC Cameroon, can you hear us? Oh, sorry, I'm mute. Hello, Isaac Cameroon. Can you hear us? Okay, I think it's not working. Who is in line, and then we try here.
Thank you. Yeah, just a short comment to, I second that proposal that you had about a pre-conference. We had that, the Nordic Youth was actually a pre-conference to the Eurodig in June in Stockholm. And I talked to the Eurodig people and some of the Swedish people, and they appreciated that. And we had some impact at the Eurodig. And they said, so this is, I think, a good way to work. Also as a response to the challenge of why should we involve youth in these issues. Maybe we cannot answer that question once and for all. So every year we have to look at the themes of the IGF and the current trends and see how can the young people contribute to these themes. So.
In regards to why youth should be included and stuff, I was in a workshop where they were talking about digital natives and digital settlers and digital immigrants. And I thought it was a very interesting analogy. They were referring to young people who grew up with the internet as digital natives, but we're not actually making the decision. So online, I actually think young people have a lot of, they're using the internet a lot and they're involved a lot, and then it's offline in spaces like this where it's actually really hard for young people to have their say. So why is it this is a space that youth can be in, but a space that we need to therefore have as much say in about how it is, any kind of rules and regulations that are made about it. And I guess, you know, you wouldn't, hopefully you wouldn't plan to make rules for a country without consulting the natives. So I kind of feel that that's my perspective on it.
I think someone else here and here and there and okay. Too many hands popping up.
They're all worth it. They're all worth it. Though we need to also review the local happenings after a while. So
Actually, I want to echo on the pre-conference point, but actually I think all the YIGF around the world, and I heard actually there is a lot of YIGF going on in different countries, and I think that was one kind of preparation for the youth before the actual IGF. So I think actually we could use the dynamic coalition to be a platform to consolidate all this, and actually we should be more active in the mailing list, which we share reports and the outcome discussion reports of different YIGF, so we know what's happening around the world, what different youths are thinking. And then so in this sense, which we then can go further really to have a youth to sit in different panels, not just in the youth related sections or just talking about us. Yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you. Does it work? Okay. I've been at an event called the Emerging Language of Internet Diplomacy, and there was somebody there who was a representative of an end-user perspective, an elderly lady actually, and she got us thinking about some very, very insightful things. And one of the big outcomes of this workshop actually is that we need to de-jargonize our way of thinking, because that will help us understand actually what we are talking about. And we realized that youth representatives can really help us with this, because they bring an extremely valuable expertise to the table, which is, first of all, not understanding the jargon, and secondly, not having anything to lose by admitting that they do not understand the jargon. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's good to hear that the small potatoes that is useful for you guys, actually. I think the youth the teenagers is mostly the netizens, and I think it's everybody and the teenagers has the electrical device, and it's just ubiquitous actually. And the point is, you know, internet is very convenient, but it also triggers a lot of issues. like cyberbullying, these kinds of freedom of expressions that in IGF there's lots of workshops which is talking about this. And of course, there's some workshops which is mainly talking about youth, but there's no teenagers on the panels. And just some professors that say the teenagers are to think like this, and however, why don't you just put the teenagers just participate on on the panels to say something, and just I think it's rather than the professors just do some research and say something. Yeah, I think like this.
Also here on the left. Yeah.
Can I go now? Yeah. Thank you very much. My comment is more on the format of the coalition because, we had been talking about dinosaurs, and I think I'm one of the dinosaurs in founding the Dynamic Coalition on Child Online Safety 7 years ago. So in that respect, I have few things to share with you. Don't feel like, just by bringing people here and talking and once a year is something that undermines the work of the coalition. It's a good move forward. But what I would like to give you as an advice is that moving forward between the IGFs and, as you mentioned earlier, the processes, within the coalition you can think of engaging the members so that you don't just spend time in introducing yourself. You can effectively come with predetermined issues that you can discuss more substantively. And I think that will help you to, nurture the, the movement within the coalition. Just a thought, we are also having similar issues. We also meet once a year. And we are thinking of having online surveys between the members to identify what would be the priority issues that we can bring to the table. So just wanted to share that with you. Don't feel that you are doing something differently.
Hi. I just want to respond to what the gentleman over here said about having youth on panels. I completely agree with that, and I think that the panels that I've attended and participated in that had youth really improved the quality, the energy level, and brought a youth perspective. But I do want to issue one word of warning. As everybody in this room knows, not every youth speaks for every youth. And so some of the young people, for example, were very conservative and extremely cautious in their approach to internet safety issues, for example, while others were much different than that. So it's very important that, number one, you have a diversity of youth, and I suspect class diversity is probably lacking at IGF, both among youth and adults, in terms of a broader coalition of people from different classes, but also that you recognize that no matter what you do, that no one can speak for all young people, all women, all men, all black people, all young people. It's just not an appropriate assumption to make that just because somebody is young, they're speaking for the youth.
Just want to put maybe a critical note to us young people. Like I said, I have 2 weeks left being able to speak like this. But I mean, we've been speaking a lot about young people being in. And first of all, I would like to say that I completely agree with you. And yesterday I made a huge stand for diversity and how you need to invest in that on a long term. And it's not necessarily about money, but it is about time and energy that you are willing to put into this. And actually I haven't seen that to the fullest extent yet, and I would love to see that a little bit more. Second of all, I would like to basically invite all youth here, including myself, to look in the mirror. And if we are that strong as a network generation, then we should not be waiting to be seated on panels, but we should take the initiative to get into a panel. And actually one of the first moves to get that done is to not have a separate British, Nordic youth, or European youth forum, working on islands. And actually being a competitive partner of each other. We need to help each other and need to connect and do not compete with each other when it comes to who will be on the panel and who represents the real youth. We all represent youth in a sense, and we will never represent everybody, and we will never be fully representative to all kinds of young people. But we need to look in the mirror and stop for sometimes stop talking about, oh, we are not in the panel and we should be in the panel. Make it happen, you know? Make it happen. Get your network together. If there's 1,000 people from Hong Kong, 1,000 people from Europe, and 1,000 people from the US are complaining about this and really tweeting and making YouTube videos to the right persons, we will be in the panels. Get your look into the mirror and get stronger and stronger. That's the way to approach this. Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think I would just say to sort of follow up on that I did sense a little bit, not so much competition, maybe a teeny bit, but I saw some disagreement about approaches. You know, that was kind of unfortunate. Like some people were more sort of buttoned down and formal, and others were more themselves or whatever. And you know, so how do we avoid that? I also noticed one Danish youth saying, interestingly, that they use me for this or they use me for that, a kind of tokenism that I think is something that really needs to be avoided. But that diversity thing, wow, you know, I do hear how difficult it is to bring youth to the IGF, just all the checks and balances, you know, and safety issues that parents have and all of that. So, you know, I just put that out there. How do we overcome the seeming extra challenges of involving youth?
A couple more, and then those people who actually have been organizing events this year, I would like to hear from them, and also really how they actually got in, especially if they weren't youth IG but some other local IGs.
So let me just make a comment for remote. They are asking to state your name before you talk because they can't. Yeah, I'm doing the same. I'm Raquel, by the way.
So hello, Martin again. Yeah, initially I also wanted to comment to the question earlier. Why people are young people are a relevant stakeholder here, and for me it's just a simple numbers game. If you look at who uses the internet the most, who is the biggest user group, and compare that to who is actually involved in the policy making processes, I think there's a huge discrepancy between the well, in Europe it's about 95% that are using internet on a daily basis amongst young people. On the next older age group it's 60, 65. And on the older age group, so the dinosaurs, then it's below 40%. And I mean, if you look at this discrepancy on the same way, look who's talking here, but also look maybe on how much young people are actually using the internet. We recently had a questionnaire from Council of Europe that asked young activists, and we had feedback from 1,450 people around that. How much are they actually using the internet and where? And 38% of young people said they are available everywhere and all the time. And the next step was more than 12 hours a day, which was still a very significant number. So basically, young people are simply very much affected by the whole issue and therefore need to have a say in it. Second issue, I also wanted to comment to what Ludo said, and something that I'm currently working on is that some communities that are online are simply not very involved in policy-making processes. That's why I'm currently working on a project aimed towards gamers and trying to involve gaming communities that have their own structures, that have probably their own problems and ideas, but certainly are not very much involved in policy-making processes right now. Maybe I'm not so far out there like Ludo when he speaks about young prisoners and all these user groups, but I definitely agree that we need to reach out more and need to explore different user groups.
Any other comment? Sorry.
Okay, there. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Basically, I wanted to come back to this. In a way, yes, I mean, I don't want to be against anyone, and that's not my aim, but the main thing is that we perceive that certain groups that are organizing youth in such a fora are actually, from our perspective, tokenistic. For me, it is problematic to see someone, an adult, talking into someone's ear and then telling him or her what to say in a framework. and maybe that's their way of empowering them, which is fine. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but from the signals that I'm getting, that's something that we don't like and are against that. That's a matter of our own principles for which we stand. But of course I understand and I agree that we should cater for all the diversity and the possibilities of different types of participation. That's why I find it simply difficult that there will be an agreement of having a joint thing, because our starting points are very different and we cater for different needs. So I'm completely fine if we continue having separate things, but I do agree with Ludo on the point that we need to get our own act together and we need to prepare better in these kind of things. That's what I'm saying. We are all at different stages. Some stakeholders have been very involved and are very developed and therefore can have a much better and more visible presence, and that's great. I'm not jealous at all. I'm very happy for them. I know that we need to do our work, and we have done in comparison to last year, and we will try to do it. But my main aim was more in line with what Jonas wants to hear of how we did it. It's more for me important that we are a platform that is an advocacy platform and capacity building for our members. So I cannot be always here as president. I love it personally, but it's not up to me. I'm also not that young anymore. I'm just a youth representative. So for me, it's important that I bring our member organizations who will do this activist role of doing the work that needs to be done. So basically catering for the needs of organizational side of organizing something, which is something that in other cases it's done by adults. The difference is that in our case, because we're youth organizations that are proud of working with, by, and for youth, that it's the young people themselves who empower others. That's the difference in approach. So what we did is bring them here. They're lined up there. They're representatives of youth organizations themselves in order to motivate them, and hopefully they will see the need themselves. And it's important that they're sitting here and listening to this discussion. And then it's really, that's a limit of what you can do. Ludo can motivate, we can open spaces, but in the end it will be up to them to really take advantage of this. So, because you need to do funding, you need to do preparation, and somebody needs to do that. So, and not everybody is willing to do that. Somebody is really simply keen on, I want to talk about privacy on Facebook and I want to be in IGF because I heard that's an important space. Great. So you know that you cannot count on that person to raise funding. But others need to do that who might not be interested in those issues but can cater for that. So it's a combination, and we try to do that. It's not easy, but we are in the process.
Okay, so because there's not much time, I'm going to have two things to say here. But now, we have pretty much already covered a lot of problems that we have so that we can get better youth participation and whatever comes after that. So in the pad, there's a lot of ideas listed, and I definitely agree with the pre-conference, because in pre-conference we can do all this introduction, we can do all this what has been happened before, and then concentrate on the workshops. That's possible. We can do that, and definitely I'll make sure you're all in the mailing list, and please keep telling people what you have been doing, and if you want any people in workshops, how you could perhaps help with funding and everything, because we need communication. That is completely true, and we have been lazy at that. If you can shortly tell what you had to say, you two, and then I want to know really, for all of our sake, what kind of past and upcoming events there are that we should know about.
Well, thank you for I have a question and a proposal. A question is that are there national youth IGFs in the countries? Do we have them? National youth IGFs. We don't have.
In Holland, there is one actually.
In Holland,
yes.
Only one, right? Because if we're talking about creating a dynamic coalition in order to create a strong front of youth for internet freedom, internet governance, and so on, we have to have this networking at the local level first. For example, creating sort of Azerbaijani national youth IGF. We can do it, creating French youth IGF. But the overarching objective of such networks should be, youth IGFs should be making the local voices of youth heard at the international level, at the international level of governing the internet, in such panels like do we need to what extent we need internet safety and security for young people in general. And the second proposal I would like to talk about is making internet governance issues a cross-cutting issue for most civil society organizations that are associated with young people at the local level. For example, if there is a representative of Bridge to the Future, that organization, for example, very much interested in internet governance issues. If it is the case, then they can create IGF platform where they can involve the young people who could be active at the international level. So uniting all these local level associations, national IGFs, youth IGFs, we can create a thriving dynamic coalition. Because otherwise we're only talking about, tokenism and such kind of things, who's better, who's not, who's worse, and so on. And it's simply time consuming, so that's it.
Hello, it's Victor. Hello, it's Victor. Short remarks for the coalition. I would like to use that, as the colleagues from Hong Kong mentioned, to share the reports, to share the experiences we have at home, then representing ourselves in IGF, the Euroleague. I think it's very important. Let's discuss also about some topics for the next IGF within the coalition. Why not? Work in the working groups, in the workshops. I know it's a hard task, but if we can maybe make some frameworks, we could maybe working groups, because just talking and there's nothing at the end. The transcription is nice, the video is nice, but then it's hard to somehow take something with me. I mean, everybody's taking something, but something else. I would like to propose IGF TV. Like we had it at Euroleague, we made interviews with the panelists. We were in the workshops, we were divided. The coalition could coordinate that. You just need a mobile, a smartphone, I don't know, just make a short interview with the most interesting panelists, because the remote participation, the video was online. You need to start from beginning or go through it, but a short interview can help just click the point, get the point. And my experience is I try to gain all the knowledge and create the IGF, so I could be like, hopefully, an example in 1 year, I don't know, but I get motivation here very much, so that's useful.
Okay, there are so many good ideas, and I'm way too lenient at this hour. So you had shoot something, and you had shoot something.
I think to save time, I'll grab this mic. I feel a bit responsible because I posed some question. I keep on questioning, or perhaps from what I heard, maybe there are 3 different kind of issues you might be dealing with or not. The first one is issues very specifically pertinent to the youth or to the age around internet governance issues, such as safety and security, or the future of the internet, education internet, or parental control, or these kind of areas. The second one perhaps is not issues of your age only, but the issues of all age concerned, but youth are given, say, less voice. Perhaps developmental issues, human rights, free speech, it's all concern of everybody, but youth must or should have some say, gender issues as well. The third one, it might be a little bit tricky. How about the CIR, the critical internet resources, or the IPv6? These may not be really familiar, or doesn't really matter to the age, but is it really so is another interesting question. But what I saw were these 3 different categories of issues, and it may require a different kind of approach for actions. Thank you.
And that's the last one. Because we also have a remote question.
Okay. Hello, Mark again here. When we're speaking about, I'm referring to the proposal of building a national networks. For example, you took the example of Azerbaijan, but in Azerbaijan we have already a network of youth organizations. It's called Nayora. It gathers the majority of youth organizations in Azerbaijan. So those are the mechanisms that we have in the most across the European the continent. I mean, we have these networks that could be used. Maybe it's not the case for other parts of the world, but this is the resources and networking. I don't see the point of creating a new networks if we have already a representative networks in the countries, and these networks are already advocating for young people for different issues like rights and so on. I mean, they can just take internet issues as well.
Okay, now there's also a remote question on the screen, if you noticed. Which kind of support can we have when building local communities, organizing national IGF sessions? This is sort of a familiar case, especially when I was last year in Nairobi, because there were several people who came to ask, how can we organize something? I mean, even organizations which have schools or universities who have money, they don't know how to organize to get young people involved. That's also a problem in local level. So we can have a few speeches on that if anyone has something to offer. How can we support locally building of IGF related events?
Thank you. It's on. Okay, so maybe we can share a bit on YIGF. Bianca Ho, sorry, from NetMission. So we after attending the Egypt IGF, we found it very difficult for young people to participate. As in the first time I've been in IGF, it was so frightening. Everyone's talking about different topics, and you just don't know when to chime in and when to give a youth perspective. So then we thought of the format of YIGF, which I think we can share at a later point as in our reports. So basically what we do is we simulate the multi-stakeholder model and then have students to get a different role, for example, civic society, the parents, teacher, and choose some relevant topics. It depends on what who you are trying to reach out to. We reach out to secondary school students, so they're a bit younger. So we chose some very relevant topics, such as privacy, copyright issues, and these to have them to talk about it. How we found these people to join our camp is basically from a school network. So I think that might be able to give you a bit more insight into how we operated the Youth IGF. I think the maybe Edmund. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's basically the format. We have group discussions on, and then they had to pretend to be a civic society or themselves or a government representative, and they will have very different views. So I think that's the core of IGF, and that's what we want them to experience. For this group, for NetY, we did a lot of preparation for them before they come to IGF. So it was quite intensive. Maybe you can talk about our training sessions.
Just to say, if you have already experienced a lot of planning and organizing local IG events, could you perhaps write a report or some kind of summary or just a hint of tips of what other people could do and send it on the mailing list? Not right now because people are not in it yet, but a bit later on. But I'm sorry, but is there?
Can I make a
yes?
comment first? So just to make it practical, like a concrete goal here, while we are talking about funding, the funding is not always, it is a big issue, but it is not always the big issue. Sometimes resources like human resources, volunteering, and informational material are the problem, because we do have tools. You don't need to do that. You can ask for a place. Well, everybody hear that? Okay. I hope they're not putting down. Anyway, so just to make this quick point that let's unfold other issues that could be useful for getting national initiatives. And now we do have Rafik that wants to go into remote. Rafik, go ahead. Rafik, it's really low. Can you lower your microphone? Louder, yeah. Can you make it louder? Sorry. Sorry, not a native English. Rafik, it's not good enough. Rafik, can you speak close to the mic? I think it's not good enough. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So I heard many people talking about national IGF, maybe regional IGF, youth IGF, etc. But I didn't hear anybody suggesting how young people participate in policy making process. I mean, to really impact or influence internet policy. So if we want to be practical, how we can influence national and international internet policy. So it's good to have space to discuss, to have workshops, etc. But it doesn't really change what is happening in our countries in terms of internet governance. So I would like to hear young people how they see themselves, how they can influence internet policy in their country or their region.
Let me not try to do it again and speak loud.
Okay, I hope people are not in a hurry, and I really do want maybe people to be initiative themselves and write down on the pad some kind of events that are coming, because there's just not enough time. If you wanted to comment that, go ahead, but after that, I suppose we're finishing here.
Creation of a specific national youth IG platforms or forums is actually one of the best alternatives to make an impact on policy issues regarding internet governance issues in that specific country, because they are not coming together. These people are not coming together just to network among each other for their shared values or interest, but also to have impacts on public policy issues regarding internet and ICT. So I think it's they can have we can see the creation of a link between the bureaucrats that are dealing with the internet issues and the young people who want to have an impact. And as far as NAIOR is concerned, I don't think that NAIOR is a specific organization or project specialized in the internet governance issues. So we need specific internet governance, youth national platforms in order to make our voice heard at the national and international levels.
Can I just make the final remark? Oh, you have no.
Okay,
please,
go ahead. If you can get the microphone. Sorry. Yeah. And I really want to stress this. If you have some even smaller events that you'd like to get some foreign young people to join, you can totally carelessly promote it around now. I want that.
Yeah, actually, it's just, we are take me as an example, it's like us and NetY, and we are just motivating the youth participation. Wow, so good, wow. And actually, it's just, before that, we participate in the competition, we haven't know what is internet governance, what is internet issues. Actually, everybody know that copyright and blah blah blah, cyberbullying is that's not good. But actually, everybody will do downloading music illegally. Everybody, since internet is very convenient. But actually, after we participate in NetY, we do know more about internet governance and know more about internet issues. How seriously they are, and actually, we got a lot of NetY newsletter, which is wrote by our Hong Kong secondary school students, and which is talking about different various issues about internet governance or internet issues. And actually, we got different trainings, the preparation by them and net missions, and we do know more about them. And just why we are here and just voice to you guys, and just because we do the preparation, and actually we can't do by ourselves, and actually we don't know that before, and just because of them, they provide us and opportunities from the whole schools, from them that they flew the schools, and we participate in and respond to them. And just this one, Joshua Wong, he is the social activist in Hong Kong, and he maybe I should give him to say something about himself.
I'm Joshua Wong, come from Hong Kong, and I'm a social activist and use social network to engage people to participate in different social issues, even to involve in different social policy. Save example, in this summer holiday, I've organized 120,000 people to occupy government headquarters to voice out our opinion. And why large amount of people will come to involve in it is because we know how to use Facebook, YouTube, Twitter to engage the youth and teens that are the same generation with us. We do not have the generation gap with them because we are the same age, and we know their culture and use what channel to approach them.
And I would like to explain that this is the extreme cases. Actually, you know that in the policies, and you may know and you may see the same faces every year. But you know that like us, it is sustainable. We try to be implemented next year, and just new phases to be there, right? Actually, we hope that. Thank you.
Okay, last words.
Yeah, because we are running out of time, and we do have a session next by. So just to first thank you all this participation. This was great. I'm thrilled, really. And I believe others too, because we never had this full room. And so, guys, let's walk the talk, and let's make this dynamic coalitions revival. Let's put and share all these experiences into the dynamic coalition. It's not the dynamic coalition is like the internet. It's not mine. It's not Jonas, it's not only you, it's from everybody and for everybody. So let's put this together and walk the talk. So thank you. Jonas, do you want to say something?
Thanks.
Okay.
And keep networking. At least we have notes.
This was a good one. Congratulations.
Sorry
for jumping in, but
no.
I mean,
No. Thanks for the help. But I mean that pre-conference is a brilliant thing. We really need to get it going.
We don't need to do this like physical. We can do this all remote.
Yeah.